Right, I'm going to change the plugs on my 14 Mustang with the 3.7 V6. This should be same for any of them. With the 3.7, I believe it's 2011 or 2012 through 15 or 16ish, but this one specifically is a 14, but it's going to be the same process. So it's pretty easy to do, really. You just need to unbolt your coil packs here. You might have to unplug them, we'll find out in a sec. But it's a good idea to disconnect your battery, because especially if you have a misfire, because when you put new plugs in it, you want your ECU to relearn with the new plugs so it'll run better. It will eventually learn over time, but it's best whenever replacing anything to reset the battery so that the ECU starts its relearning process immediately. So just loosen your little nut on the end there and pop it off. Negative's fine. And I like to open the door and tap the brake pedal just as an extra measure to make sure any residual power left in the system is released. These are 5/16. Now, it is possible, although unlikely, that a different year may have a different size, or if anyone's ever replaced them, maybe it's a different size, but should be a 5/16 for you. Alright, so it should pull out. If there's too much tension, we'll just unplug it, which it looks like there may be. Pop this loose. I'm going to go ahead and plug it because it looks like these are fairly long, so I don't think that, there we go. You got to pull this red tab back and then depress on the black tab while simultaneously pulling back. So some cars you can just pull them out plugged in, but this doesn't have very much room for it to flex, so it's probably not going to come out unless you unplug it. Got to pull up and wiggle, and then they'll pop off. So that's your coil pack. Then down in there's your plug. So you can either use a regular socket and then a magnet, an extendable magnet to retrieve them, which is probably what I'm going to do, or you can use a spark plug socket. So there's the old plugs. Looks like it had Motocraft Platinum in there, so I'm glad that this is going to be an upgrade in GK Iridium. There's your part number, I believe, if you guys are going to ask that. So to slide the new one in, either you need to set it loosely in the spark plug socket so that it holds it with its rubber gasket until you can get the thread started. The other option is put a magnet on the end, lower it, and then with the magnet attached, spin the magnet arm to start the threads. If you're successful in that, then you can just pull the magnet off of it and then put a regular socket back on it. Or last ditch effort, you don't want to drop these in here and bend it and throw off your gap, but if you absolutely have to, this is what I do. Just lower it in all the way like that. It's actually touching, so I didn't even drop it. Just try to lower it as far as you can before you let go, and on this one I'm able to get it all the way down. Then I just have to wiggle it to get it to pop into the hole. Some cars there's a little bit of drop, but not on this one. So it might be hard to see in the video, but there's definitely a larger gap on the old ones. Now of course you can gap the plugs, but I'm not the type of person to do that. I just replace them. So not only are these Iridiums an upgrade, but it's also got the proper gap now because they're pre-gapped. So on top of them being an upgrade and having the proper gap, this thing should run a lot better. Honestly, it was running fine, but I should pick up some power from this now. Alright, so after you get them down in there, you want to make sure you don't cross thread these. So what I like to do is turn them backwards until I feel the click. Right there. You might have heard that and I felt it. That's where the threads have just reset. They're lined up now. I like turning backwards till it clicks like that, and then go forward to make sure I didn't cross thread it. Also, if it's giving you much resistance, then it's probably cross-threaded and you need to try again. So you basically just turn them till they stop and just make sure they're a little bit snug. But the torque spec on them is 10 to 12 foot-pounds. I think it's at 133 inch-pounds, which is 11 foot-pounds approximately. So anywhere between 10 and 12 is what you want to go for. You don't want to go over that. It might not seem like a lot, but these have aluminum heads, so you don't want to go over that. I would recommend the maximum of 12 foot-pounds to make sure they don't come loose, but you don't want to go over that. Okay, so you want to make sure you put these back on in the same order. So if you want to, do one at a time. or just make sure you don't mix them up. Mix them up. Just put the same one back where it went. And these, just snug them down. I'd say about 7 or 8 foot-pounds or 80-90 inch-pounds. And then you're done there. Now it's time for the fun side. Because to do these, you have to remove this upper intake manifold here, because they're down under it. Alright, I think I'm going to end it there, guys. I'm going to make a video of how to remove the intake manifold so you can get to those other 3 plugs. But I ran into the problem before to where I split up videos like that. So like this would have had all the content you needed. And then I also did a separate one, like, hey, here's how you take off the manifold. But because it was the same video, YouTube flagged me for my own content, saying that somehow I got a strike for copying someone's content, which I think was my own, because I had done those in videos. So I'm not trying to risk that here today, so I apologize for the inconvenience. Just go to the main channel and click on playlists at the top, and then I'll have a Mustang playlist there where you will see the intake one right after the spark plug one, or right on top of it, or right next to it, whatever you want to call it. Because I want to have a video of that too, but without getting any issues with YouTube. So again, I apologize for the inconvenience. So it'll be under the playlist with all the other videos for this car. And also, if I can figure it out, get on my computer, I will, which I should be able to. I'll put a link in the description to the other video. So, hey, thanks for watching.